We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Steve and Jack Butala.
and I'm Jill DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 2035. Today, we are talking about flipping mobile homes to add value to your land business. Wait a minute. It's called Land Academy. We're just going to buy a piece of land and resell it and go about our lives. Yes, that's exactly right. You can do the same thing, the exact same thing with mobile homes without replacing your land business. Just add it to it. The whole week today, this week, we're talking about adding value to your land deal.
Cool.
Have you ever done a mobile home deal, Jill?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Tell us about it.
Why?
Was it glorious and successful and easy?
Yes.
No, exactly. That's my point.
I'm like, they're great.
So I go back and forth.
Especially the ones that we buy. It's not, I have no trouble with them. And there's one that where you and I both, we literally walked recently in Idaho. Was it Idaho? It is Idaho, isn't it? Yeah, it is Idaho. I have to think about that. Yeah. And we're both like, maybe we should keep this thing because the land is awesome. Yeah. The mobile sucks. But there's a roof on it and there's a couch in there and I walked in it. But yeah, buddy.
Before we get to that, let's take a question. Each day on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum and take a deep dive into land-related topics by popular request. Here's the question.
Okay, Joe wrote, "Hi, everyone. I'm new to Land Academy. I'm from Chicago, and it's great to be a part of the Land Academy family. I had a question, if someone doesn't mind answering. Should I use Concierge Data for my first campaign so I don't mess it up? Or do most of you just jump into the fire and do docs ready and basically download and scrub and prep and everything on your own mailer? I have watched 3.0 on how to target a market, but I need to watch that video a few more times. It was difficult to digest all the due diligence Jack did on the Excel sheet. I figured using Concierge Data would be better for my first campaign, my first mailer campaign, direct mail campaign, is what he's talking about, until I get better at using all of the tools. Any advice would be appreciated. I would. You know what, Joe? I would. If it's going to take you 4 weeks to do it, then I would use somebody else as you get going. If it would take you 1 weekend to really dig in and figure it out and get good, then I would spend the time on my own. So it's really your comfort level and your Excel skills and things like that. Because the part that you really need to focus on is what you are focusing on, which is I can understand how to pick the market. I can understand how to run the radial green test. I can understand where to mail, what I want to mail, and how I want to price it. I've got all that figured out. Now it's the details of going in, downloading that data, scrubbing out the stuff I don't want, assigning a zip code to the ones that don't have a zip code, scraping all the comps so I can get a good, price per acre so I can come back and set my offers and then I can get them out. That's what's involved. So that part you're like, oh my gosh, Jill, it took me all weekend to get to that point. Then I would say yes, then use Concierge Data. That's why they're there. And you're not nuts. What's great about Concierge Data was when you establish this product, which is basically our team working for you, they're doing our data. And when they're in their, we don't need them every single day running our own data. So that's why they have time to do data for everybody else in Land Academy and the planet, by the way. You don't have to just be a member. You get special pricing. So anyway, within Concierge Data, we thought it would be more people like you. That's we set this up. We're like, okay, it's anybody who's kind of hung up at this point. This is going to solve it and help them get their mail out faster. Well, what's funny is it is pivoted to it's almost split. I'm going to say, is it split down the middle? What do you think?
Well, this is a real popular question.
New people versus advanced people. I want to finish my thought here. Do you think it's 50-50 or is it 70-30?
For Concierge?
Uh-huh.
I think the vast majority of people who use Concierge Data are outsourcing it because they're tired of doing it.
That's it.
Me included.
So that's the point. So it's not more new people doing it that are just like overwhelmed. It's more people like Jack. They're like, I can do it. I know how to do it. Why would I do it? I'm just going to spend the money. So you might get in, Joe, and go, I know what goes on behind the scenes. I don't need to sit there and do the minutia. I'll just start with Concierge and always use Concierge Data, just like the pros do.
This question was really split. The answers were split almost down the middle. Look, you have two ways to get. Number one, your land business will never happen unless you get the mail out.
True.
And so many people just said, whatever, just pick one, man.
Yeah.
To Joe. Joe, I'm really glad you asked this because it's a very popular concept and it vocalizes what I just said. You got to get the mail out or nothing's going to happen. Your phone's not going to, for better or for worse. So you have a choice. You can outsource it or you can go through the pain of learning how to do it on your own in the beginning. Look, this is my opinion. Do it yourself. But if it's going to stop, do Docs Ready. If it's going to stop you from sending the mail because you got other stuff going on in your life, for I don't care what reason, then get Concierge Data. You have to get something in the mail.
It's not about the money because here's what happens. If you're like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm going to save the money, right? And do it myself. But it takes you 3 months to get a mailer out. Then I go, did you save money? Because you could have got a mailer out in month 1 and be making money on month 3.
You're just not going to.
So you have to take a step back and go, oh yeah, I got to look at it that way too. Yeah. So it's worth the money if I'm going to spend all this time, and like you said, if I have a busy life, there's a couple of reasons people do it. 1, they're busy. 2, they're lazy.
Yeah.
And 3, it's just going to take me too long. Why do it? It's like our business. Even Jack can do everything I do, and I can muddle through. I wouldn't be nearly as good as you. I mean, I know, what I'm saying. I'm not an Excel PhD, but everyone can learn all pieces of this. That doesn't mean that you're great at it or you should be doing it.
If you teach yourself how to do a mailer and ultimately you do a bunch of deals and you say, I am going to outsource this now. Yeah, it's more expensive, but I realize how profitable this is. And what ends up happening, the best case scenario is you know how to do it. You've done it several times yourself. You choose to do Concierge Data out of whatever. But what ends up happening is how I do it is I really can check it then. I know, are the guys at Concierge Data, the guys I picked personally, creating a mailer that's as good as or better than I would for myself? I know the difference. I fear that if you just always use Concierge Data, you're not going to know whether or not the mailer is what it should be. There's a lot of caveats to doing a mailer. I'm not saying don't use Concierge Data. We created it. It's hugely popular. Jill and I own offers to owners, so I can see on the back end what kind of orders are being purchased, how much, or how many units are in each order. And the new people tend to use Concierge Data for small amounts. I don't know why. 2, 3, 4, 500 units, which really concerns me. And then the people we have people that spend well over $1 million a year on mail using Concierge Data because the machine's rolling.
Yep.
So the point is get the mail out.
Harvard's going to do it faster. Yeah.
Today's topic, flipping mobile homes to add value to your existing land business. You know how to send out mail. You understand the concepts, and you understand that if you send out several thousand pieces of mail and follow up appropriately, and you can buy and sell a piece of land without a lot of work. When you look at the work and time and energy and money spent to actually generate the money that this business is staggeringly positive. So why not add a product type? Mobile homes, houses, all of it. Flipping mobile homes and pricing, there's pros and cons to buying and selling mobile homes. And mobile homes are different than buying and selling land in the following way. Sending out a mailer, there's much fewer mobile homes out there than land. If you go to let's just pick on Texas. If you go to a rural county in Texas, you're going to and find out how many pieces of vacant land are there. It's going to be thousands and thousands of land, depending on the county and the size of the county and what's going on there. And you will find mobile homes that are on land, on their own piece of land, their own APN, in the hundreds, not the tens of thousands. So there's far fewer mobile homes to choose from. So you've got to get a 5,000 to 10,000 unit mobile home mailer. You have to cross state lines often. You certainly have to cross county lines. And deconstructing the data to find out where mobile homes are in that the sea of real estate in that given county is a little bit more tricky. Very doable, but it's a little tricky. And so, but pricing, it's real easy because you can find out. It usually has an address, a mailing address, and so you can find out what Zillow thinks it's worth and what Realtor.com and all the algorithms out there think a mobile home is worth, and price it from there. So you do individual pricing. It's much easier from a pricing standpoint. But when a seller calls back and says, "Yeah, you know what, I do want to sell my mobile home," there's a bunch of extra due diligence steps that have to happen, very similar to buying a house. And it's usually on a septic system. So flipping mobile homes to add value to your land business is very, very possible. We talk about this in Career Path in great detail.
I want to add real quick too. We're talking about mobile homes that are owned on their own land, not in a park. We're not talking buy mobile homes. We're talking about buy land that has a mobile home attached to it. There's a big difference. You don't want space 32. We're not buying that.
Yeah, legally and technically, Jill's exactly right. The vast majority of mobile homes out there are in a park. Mm-hmm. They're in a mobile home park, a designated area that's got one APN. The entire park is one APN, and people are living side by side in mobile homes next to each other, and they're renting the land every month. That's not what we're talking about.
Exactly.
That's personal property. It's the same legal status as your automobile.
Right.
It's not real property, real estate. If the mobile home is on a piece of land, it's got its own APN and you're paying real estate taxes as a person that lives there, that's what we're interested in. And everybody who is living in a mobile home park dreams of living in a mobile home on their own land to get rid of that land monthly rent payment.
True.
So they're easy to sell in any condition. I don't think, with few exceptions, we've owned a proper mobile home it takes 2 weeks to sell it.
We could do mobile home week too, by the way. There's a lot of different things that go into this, but you're right. Every time, even mobile home friendly land, there's two things that we've had that fly off the shelves. When it's a land that the county, it will allow mobiles, and they love that. If I could just say, hey, mobile home friendly lot, those fly off the shelves. And then the second one is when there is a mobile home on there in any condition, because of the infrastructure that's set up and it's kind of ready to go. It's even if you scrape it and put a new one on there, which people love, it's funny. Over the years we have bought and sold some that I'm like, I am sure, we bought it so cheaply and sold it so cheaply that they're just going to scrape it. They're doing what they should do and put a new one down. And then I look it up later and they're living there. I'm like,
really?
What?
They cleaned it all up?
They did. Like, I guess you fixed the hole in the side. Like, I was joking earlier about the one that we looked at that we still own in Idaho. And I should put some pictures up of that too, because I had to, what's holding the front door closed? Cinder block. So you have to move the cinder block to open the front door. You go in, look around, close it, put the cinder block back in place.
I love that little property.
I know.
There's no way we can sell
it. It's got a protective ridge. We joke about, but it's true. It's like 5 acres.
Yeah,
it's 5.
We should never go visit your property.
Yeah, that's bad.
If you're a true real estate lover, like the both of us are,
we love land.
Everything turns into a real estate experience with us.
True.
Joe rented an ATV and I took my dual sport Kawasaki out. I don't know where we were. It doesn't matter. And it just,
Yellowstone.
It was in West Yellowstone. And what a ride.
Oh,
but it ended up being, look at that real estate. Wonder who owns that. It just became that kind of thing. Even on if we could go fishing today, and it would become, look at who owns that land? Maybe we should send a mailer out here. Just becomes that.
We have you know what? It's a disease.
and we encourage each other.
Oh, no one.
It's like two criminals encouraging each other.
No one holds the other one back. You're right. We should buy that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let's do a mailer when we get back.
Sure. Well, heck, I have to say, the last 10 days, actually the last 7 days, we drove to Canada for lunch. And then next thing you know, Jack's like, we can buy this up here. I guess we could.
Here's the whole point to this episode. Flipping mobile homes, we can and will add a ton of value to your existing business. It's a little bit more complicated but very rewarding. They're much easier
True.
to sell than vacant land once you purchase it. So, but there's some moving parts. So if you're interested in learning more about this, send a note to support@landacademy.com, and they will steer you toward or considering attending our career path class, because we have 1.5 whole modules on this, and we walk through it every step of the way. Join us tomorrow where we discuss our buy and hold strategies to add value to our existing land business. We're not alone in your real estate ambition. We're Jack and Jill. Information
and inspiration
by undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.